buy the pie and cut it in pieces. Most people look for what they can afford, so they look too small. They buy only a piece of the pie, so they end up paying more for it. Small thinkers don't get the big breaks. If you want to get richer, think big. So good morning, everybody, and I think we're going to end up finishing today. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm looking forward to getting into it. Thank you for so many hearts already. Already a lot of activity going on Bigo Live. So great to have you there. Great to have some people on the Zoom as well. So great to have you as well. And I am looking forward to later on going through and following everybody in Bigo and letting you know how you can get in touch and how you can watch the recordings of these, because I have the recordings of all of my commentary of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But for now, let's get into it. It is Friday. It is time for the last spurt of the week before we get into the weekend. So there's still a chance to get some really productive work done. So let's start reading. We are up to the last 1, 2, 3, 4. Last 4 points, and then we have the summary, and that will conclude everything for today. I'm going to have to go and see if I can find another book later today ready for Monday. How exciting. I'll keep it as a surprise what the book is going to be that we'll be reading. But for now, let's keep reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Let's get into it. Look for people who want to buy first, then look for somebody who wants to sell. A friend was looking for a certain piece of land. He had the money, but did not have the time. I found a large piece of land, larger than what my friend wanted to buy, tied it up with an option, called my friend, and he said he wanted a piece of it. So I sold the piece to him and then bought the land. I kept the remaining land as mine for free. Moral of the story, buy the pie and cut it in pieces. Most people look for what they can afford, so they look too small. They buy only a piece of the pie, so they end up paying more for it. Small thinkers don't get the big breaks. If you want to get richer, think big. This is very, very true. So very often we will look at what it is that we want to do from one side only. So we look for somebody who is selling something, and then we buy, and we hope further down the track that we're going to be able to find somebody that will buy it from us. But if I already have the buyer, and I say, okay, I will go on the lookout for you. I will have something very, very soon for you. And you already know what they're willing to pay. Now I can go out into the market and find what they're looking for and assist them to buy it. And I don't have to worry about when I buy whether I'll be able to sell it, because I already have somebody lined up and ready. A great example of this is a movie that I have been watching. I don't watch a lot of movies. Well, my partner likes to watch movies, but I don't watch a lot of movies. I don't like watching a lot of movies unless they're business related. And yesterday we were watching a really good one. It's called The Banker, and it deals with exactly this kind of idea, that you need to have a very good grasp on what you are doing, your numbers, your understanding of how things work. Don't overanalyze and wait forever and never take any action. But the movie is really brilliant. It's called The Banker. I think at the moment you can only get it on Apple TV, I think. And it deals with two colored people, two black people, and they go into business together and start doing business and buy a bank, even though black people, they legally can, but there are lots of challenges, and they do it in the South where people don't like black people, and they buy properties, and again they have issues with people who don't like the fact that they're black and don't want them to do it, but they find their way around it. And I won't spoil the story. The solution is brilliant, and it's similar to what is going on here. They find a solution to the need before they create that need, so that they know that they're going to be in a good position. So great lesson. Always look for the person who wants to buy first before looking for the person who is selling. Think big. Retailers love giving volume discounts simply because most business people love big spenders. So even if you're small, you can always think big. When my company was in the market for computers, I called several friends and asked them if they were ready to buy also. We then went to different dealers and negotiated a great deal because we wanted to buy so many. I have done the same with stocks. Small people remain small because they think small. Act alone or don't act at all. And I was ready to set this up with my cafe back in the day, my cafe days. Wow. I was going to get a couple of cafes together so that we could all order our produce at the same time. And by doing that, we were going to get bulk discounts on the vegetables that we were ordering. So I would order on behalf of everybody, get everybody to either come and pick it up or redistribute it to them. And that way, we'd be able to get a much cheaper amount on our vegetables. Now, I didn't have enough as one single customer to be able to buy enough fruits and vegetables to be able to get the discount. But if we were doing it together with a number of us, we'd be able to do that. And so my food costs would go down, my profit margin would go up. And yeah, it was a great idea, but unfortunately my landlord had other ideas about what they wanted to do with the building, and I wasn't able to stay. But otherwise would have set that up and would have increased my profits by thinking big. So absolutely great strategy to implement. Have a think about where you can think big. For example, if you have a business and you are going to go and buy a computer for your business, it is absolutely brilliant to go out and see whether other people also need computers who are friends of yours, and they can then also get the computer at a discount. So definitely something for you to keep in mind. And I'm going to be discussing that with the people that I'm going to be meeting with on Sunday with regards to ideas like this in order to also be able to create more value for them as well. And learn from history. All the big companies on the stock exchange started out as small companies. Colonel Sanders did not get rich until after he lost everything in his 60s. Bill Gates was one of the richest men in the world before 30. So this is quite contradictory, and I'm going to give this a little bit of thought. So learn from history. I think what Robert Kiyosaki wants to say with this is that you can learn from different kinds of people. People who got rich when they were older, people who got rich when they were younger. So when I am looking out into the world at the moment with everything that is happening with Ukraine and with inflation and all of the craziness that's going on, I actually look back a lot at history. And I have studied a lot of 1930s, 1940s in order to be able to be prepared for what might happen. Now, things might go a little bit differently. Things could go in a slightly similar way. But if you understand how things have worked in history, they might not be 100% accurate, but at least you have an idea of some of the things that you can do. So let's say, for example, that we have a period of high inflation. Now, the inflation might not be as bad as it was in Germany. It might not work out in the same way. There might be other factors also impacting. But if I know how people in the past were able to get good results and not succumb to the issues of that high inflation, then it becomes possible for me to be able to have a look at a couple of different strategies that people used, and I can then implement them more quickly. If I have to make it up on the spot when I notice the high inflation, it becomes extremely difficult. If I already have a couple of strategies that I've learned about from history, then I can implement them very quickly, and I can adapt, and I can combine them, I can tweak them, I can change them as time goes on. But if I have no idea yet, if I have not learned from history, then when that inflation hits, I am going to be in a panic state of mind. That panic state of mind is going to stop my brain from being able to work very well. It's going to stop me from being able to think clearly. And so that brain not working is going to make it take longer, and it's going to be more challenging to come up with good solutions. There's a classic example of this. There are farmers who get paid twice a year. So they have a crop, they get paid, they have another crop, they get paid. And so they get paid twice a year. And what happens is the moment they get paid, their intelligence is quite high. So they have the money, they feel confident, they feel good about everything. And so their confidence level is high, their IQ is high. And then as time goes on, they're starting to use more of their money they're getting to what we have as well sometimes, depending on who you are. If you are getting paid a salary at the end of the week, just before your new salary comes very often, you have nothing left. And our financial decisions are not as good as when we have the money. So when we don't have money, when we're getting close to being broke, we end up having brain fog, we end up having lower IQ, and we make terrible decisions. So it is really important that you are always maintaining your ability to have access to funds, that you have income coming in, so that you feel comfortable. If you don't, you tend to take really, really risky decisions. You tend to not have very good decision-making abilities. So it's really important that when that inflation hits, that you have already decided on a couple of courses of action, because in that moment you are going to be stressed and panicked if things are going horribly wrong. So you need to have those strategies ready so that you can implement them with a cool head and you still have your intelligence available to you, rather than running off like a chicken without a head, seeing if you can figure out what to do about this inflation in that moment, which generally will not work. Okay, and all action always beats inaction. And he hasn't put anything around that. He's just said action always beats inaction. And I'm going to agree with that. Always go out and do something. So learn about something. And as you're learning, discuss it, talk about it, think about what you can do to implement it. And if you don't, then you're not going to learn as much. So learn, talk about, practice, do calculations, do whatever it is that you need to, teach it to somebody else, but take that action. And then once you've been teaching it to somebody else, once you've done the calculations, once you understand how it works, go out and do it for real. And it doesn't really matter if you succeed or fail. The failures will teach you what you need to change, and the successes will show you what you are meant to do. So go out and take action, take action, take action, take action, take action. The quicker you make the mistakes, the quicker you're going to get to the other side of that mountain. The quicker you go out and make those mistakes, the quicker you're going to be able to achieve your goals. If you never take action and you're waiting for the perfect moment, you are just making that moment to arriving at your goal. You're just pushing it out further and further and further. So that is never a good thing. And then finally, final thoughts. I would like to share some final thoughts with you. The main reason I wrote this book and the reason it has remained a bestseller since 2000 was to share insights into how increased financial intelligence can be used to solve many of life's common problems. Without financial training, we all too often use the standard formulas to get through life. Work hard, save, borrow, and pay excessive taxes. Today, more than ever, we need better information. And I think, I don't know what version, this is the newest version, but let's have a look. This is from 2017. So this is all before all of the craziness that's been happening now. So it's even more important now than even when this book was written, when he said, it's so important right now to know. A friend of mine was griping one day about how hard it was to save money for his 4 kids' college educations. He was putting $300 away in a college fund each month and had so far accumulated only $12,000. He had about 12 more years to save for college since his oldest child was then 6-year-old. At the time, the real estate market in Phoenix was terrible. People were giving houses away. I suggested to my friend that he buy a house with some of the money in his college fund. The idea intrigued him. We began to discuss the possibility. His primary concern was that he did not have credit with the bank to buy another house since he was so overextended. I assured him that there were other ways to finance a property rather than through the bank. We looked for a house for 2 weeks, a house that would fit all our criteria. There were plenty to choose from, so shopping was fun. Finally, we found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in a prime neighborhood. The owner had been downsized and needed to sell that day because he and his family were moving to California, where another job waited. The owner wanted $102,000, but we offered only $79,000. He took it immediately and agreed to carry back the loan with a 10% down payment. Important to understand all of these terms. If you don't understand something, look it up, get to understand it. Again, the movie The Banker that we talked about earlier talks about that a lot and will teach you some of those things. So highly recommend that one. All my friend had to come up with was $7,900. As soon as the owner moved, my friend picked up the house and set it up for rent. After all expenses were paid, including the mortgage, he put about $125 in his pocket each month. His plan was to keep the house for 12 years and let the mortgage get paid down faster by applying the extra $125 to the principal each month. We figured that in 12 years, a large portion of the mortgage would be paid off, and he could possibly be clearing $800 a month by the time his first child went to college. He could also sell the house if it had appreciated in value. 3 years later, the real estate market greatly improved in Phoenix, and he was offered $156 for the same house by the tenant who lived in it. Again, he asked me what I thought. I advised that he sell it using a 1031 tax-deferred exchange. Suddenly, he had nearly $80,000 to operate with. I called another friend in Austin, Texas, who then moved this tax-deferred capital gain into a mini storage facility. Within 3 months, he began receiving checks for a little less than $1,000 a month, which he then poured back into the college fund. A couple of years later, the mini warehouse sold, and he received a check for nearly $330,000 as proceeds from the sale. He rolled those funds into a new project that would now generate over $3,000 a month in income, again going into the college fund. He's now very confident that his goal will be easily met. Let's have a look. There's still a little bit to go of this summary and final thoughts. So I'm going to leave it at that for today. We'll have one more reading that we can squeeze out of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So go out and take some action. If you like these videos, if you want to learn more and get my commentary to help you along with the process of the book, then feel free to go to the Passive Cash Flow Club on YouTube. You'll be able to find us there. Make sure you subscribe. We are also putting new videos up there on topics that you are struggling with. So if you have any questions, if you are unsure about certain financial things, whether you should get a credit card, how to get a loan, how to find the right broker, how to find a lawyer, how to find whatever it is, how to get past your sabotage, how to whatever your challenges are with regards to personal finance, send me a message and let me know what they are, and we'll make a video about it and put it on the Passive Cash Flow Club. So if you're notified by subscribing, then you'll be able to see when new videos are uploaded, and you'll be able to find the answers to many interesting questions that you may be struggling with. So to send me that, go to Instagram and you can get in touch there, see what I'm up to, but get in touch. And you can find me at business_team_6_official. And I would love to hear your questions. I would love to get to know you and be in touch with you. And I appreciate you being here and for supporting the YouTube channel and subscribing. And yes, send me your questions. And also very important is to take action. And one of the best ways to take action is by playing cash flow, whether it's on the board game or the online version that I created with somebody called Mladen, who's also watching this morning. And this version takes it and makes it even more realistic. So it allows you to be able to learn more about taxation that you otherwise wouldn't. It has more realistic features with regards to downsizing and the amount of capital gains that you can actually make from a property. And it has a lot of other more realistic scenarios that are going to teach you things that are going to come up in real life so that you're more prepared for real life and don't have to make as many mistakes in real life, because I want you to be able to take action. And I am looking forward to seeing your journey. So get in touch on Instagram, business_team_6_official. Send me your questions. Let me know what your challenges are. Let me know if you'd like to join for cash flow, and I'll get my VA to send you the details on where you can join us and how you can join us. And go to the Passive Cash Flow Club. Watch other readings of Rich Dad, Poor Dad and the book that we read before this, The Art of Thinking Clearly. You can also find the rules of how to play cash flow and lots of other informative videos. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you personally and following your journey. So I'm going to leave it at that. Have an amazing day. Go out and achieve some last big things before the week ends. And then you can rest and relax knowing that you've taken another step closer to your goals.